Go.
Hi Red Class, this is the Great Goat Chase. Mr. Farmer had a field, and in this field he decided to grow turnips. So he ploughed the field and sowed the seeds in long, neat rows, up and down, until the whole field was done. The seeds grew, and soon every row was filled with large, round, plump turnips. Wow, look at them all. And there's the horse, there's the cow, and there's the sun. Now, Mr. Farmer had 3 goats, which he milks every morning. But one day, Mr. Farmer left the gate open. Oh dear. And the goats slipped through it, tripped down the road, and right into the turnip field. They could hardly believe their good fortune. Straight away, they began to chomp, chomp, chomp the turnips. Row after row after row. Let's count the goats. 1, 2, 3. Mr. Farmer, who was having a late morning cup of tea, looked out of his kitchen window and saw those goats gobbling up his turnips. "Oh no," he wailed, running out of the door, spilling tea everywhere. Mr. Farmer then tried to chase the goats out of the field, but those goats had minds of their own. One ran this way, one ran that way, and one ran the other way. Could Mr. Farmer get these goats out of the turnip field? No, he couldn't. "I know," said Mr. Farmer. "I'll get Dog." He gave a big whistle, and Dog came running. He rushed to the field and tried to herd the goats. But Dog was a sheepdog, and these were goats. One way went that way, one went the other way, and the other went another way, round and round and round the field until... Dog was exhausted. Could Dog get those goats out of the turnip field? No, he couldn't. And can you see there's a horse in the background, and Mr. Farmer's got a blue trousers on and a red top. There he is, looking and thinking. Mr. and Farmer and Dog stood at the gate, wondering what to do. Horse stuck his head over the fence. "What's the matter?" he asked. "Are those silly goats too fast for you?" "Probably," said Mr. Farmer wearily. "Never mind," said Horse. "I've got good long legs. I'll soon have them out of the turnip field." Let's see. Horse jumped the fence and raced up the field, sending turnips flying. Now, Horse was bigger and faster than the goats, but they could turn more easily. One turned that way, one turned the other way, and the one turned another way. Oh dear. Could Horse get those goats out of the turnip field? No, he couldn't. There they go. 1, 2, 3, and poor turnips. As Horse sat down beside Mr. Farmer and Dog, Cow came up to them. "Let me show you how it's done," she says. "My big horns will soon have them on their way." Well, there's Dog looking, there's Horse looking, and Mr. Farmer not happy. And so they did. One goat went scampering this way, one goat went scampering that way, and the third went scampering another way. Could cow get the goats out of the turnip field? You're right. No, he couldn't. Now, Pig, who'd been grinning at the efforts of his friends, decided to show them how it was done. It's time to get tough, he said. Show them a bit of muscle. Right, Pig. Pig pumped up his great shoulders and trotted into the turnip field. Then he dropped his head and charged with all his might. One goat nimbly tripped this way, one goat nimbly tripped that way, and the third goat tripped another. Could Pig get the goats out of the field? No, he couldn't. Mr. Farmer, Dog, Horse, Cow, and Pig all sat down and cried their eyes out. Oh, boo-hoo, they howled. Just then, little Buzzy Bee was buzzing by. Can you see him? He's up there. Mr. Bee. What's the matter, she asked, when they all told her. She said, I'll get those goats out of the turnip field. You, they said, a tiny, weeny, tiny bee. Yes, me, she said. Dog's having a good old bark in the background as he's fed up. Mr. Farmer, Dog, Horse, Cow, Pig all stopped crying and began laughing and laughing and laughing. Little Bee said, can I go and get the goats out of the field now? All right, they said. Off you go. They're all laughing at Mr. Bee. There he is. Little Busy Bee flew into the turnip field. She buzzed round and round the goats and their heads, and she said, if you don't leave this field right now, I'll sting your bottoms. Oh no! Could Little Busy Bee get those goats out of the turnip field? Shall we have a look? Yes, she could. The goats didn't need a second telling. As fast as their little hooves could carry them, they were off, out of the gate, up the road, and onto the hillside. At the gate, Mr. Farmer, Dog, Horse, Cow, and Pig all stood feeling very silly. Sorry, Little Busy Bee, they said humbly, and they all agreed that sometimes little folk can do things much better than big folk. So that's the book for today. Bye-bye, Red Class. See you soon. Bye.